What up, what up, what up, y'all? This is Astro Dim here, coming through with the full moon reading for full moon in Virgo. Full moon in Virgo. Okay? Hello, 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 y'all. What's up, what's up, what's up? So, the full moon is going to be in Virgo tomorrow, February 19th, around like 10:45 a.m. It might be technically February 20th for some folks, and maybe even 18th for some others. No, I don't think so. Yeah, maybe Hawaii. Hawaii's like 6 or 8 hours ahead. I don't know. I think regardless, it's still going to be between the 19th and the 20th, right? But the full moon is going to be in Virgo, 0 degrees Virgo at that. February 19th, 10:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the east side of the U.S. Okay. And so it's a special event, special thing. I like to explain generally what full moons mean, astronomically and astrologically. Okay. And so, basically, a full moon is when we have astronomically full vision of the moon, because the moon is in one side of the earth and the sun's on the other side of the earth. Okay, and so we have full vision of the moon. We don't have to worry about the earth's shadow blocking it. It's just the full view of the side of the moon in which we can see the bright side of the moon. Okay. So it's dope, everyone's happy. You can see the moon, it looks pretty or whatever. Okay, this is going to be a super moon too, in which the moon, that's all that means, is the moon is a little bit closer than usual, to Earth. And so it appears bigger. Okay. It's unfortunate because it's a snowstorm where I'm at, on the east side. So I'm probably not going to be able to see the full moon, because usually the snowstorm, there are clouds because it's snowing, and it's like a white sky. Like, I'm looking at outside the window now. It's like a white sky, literally. So I'm probably not going to be able to see the full moon, because it's going to be snowing for pretty much the whole week. So it's unfortunate, because it's a super moon. But if you can see it, definitely take advantage of the opportunity. Okay. Now, astrologically, if you kind of look at the chart, it's basically the sun and the moon are in opposite signs, okay? 6 signs away in the same exact degree. That's the exact moment of the full moon. But the cool thing about the full moon energy is so potent, it's so important, because there's the luminaries of the earth, so it's so strong that the energy of the full moon lasts 3 days before the full moon and 3 days after the full moon. So we have all this time to do what we got to do during full moons. Now I'll explain that a little bit later, okay? Actually, not a little bit later. I'll explain it like now. So with full moons, right? A lot of people kind of get the word lunatic, or like werewolves, like that whole vibe, because of the full moon. People are known for doing crazier things during the full moon. And the reason why is because we're conflicted. Again, the sun and the moon are in opposite signs, right? Astronomically. And so that means that our emotions are feeling one way, but our expression, how we're expressing our emotions, our identity, and how we're reacting is another way, because we're feeling conflicted. And the big, confliction, I guess, is because wherever the sun is astrologically, wherever the sun is astrologically, that's what the, all of Earth, right? The universal consciousness of Earth, of 3D, has to move. Like, that's the energy that we're like following at the moment, is where the sun's at, because the sun highlights what we need to focus on specifically at this time. So at this time, we're getting pushed, especially when sun is just hitting exactly in the first decade of Pisces, right? We are being pushed to realize our self-undoings, pushed to understand spirituality a little bit more, pushed to understand what the unknown is, whatever the unknown is to us. Understand that there's more than what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we feel. There's way more to it. And you can see this in a scientific way, a logical way, a spiritual way, whatever. But just know that there's more out there that we're not fully aware of. And it's our time to really kind of push that through. Use our imaginations to find out the truth. Use our intuition to find out the truth. It's a real interesting energy. And, you know, the thing is, during this full moon in particular, right, our emotions are still focused on 3D. Our emotions is still focused on what's tangible, what we can feel, see, hear, touch. But we're not being pushed to use our imaginations emotionally. We don't want to. We don't want to. We're emotionally stuck on what's tangible. We're emotionally stuck on the day-to-day shit that we do, our routine, our daily task. And we're very busy. You know, Virgos are known for being very busy, very loving and sweet, helpful people, but busy nonetheless, because they're too focused on finding perfection, while the sun is basically telling us that perfection is objective. You're not going to really know what perfection is, because everyone's perfection is different. It is up to your imagination or what you feel. That's what perfection really is. And so it's just like two opposite energies. So emotionally, right, you are leaning just towards routine, everyday task, work environment, just beyond that, right? We're also kind of reacting like a natal Virgo moon, in a sense of, when it comes to our emotions, we're very focused on, organizing our thoughts before we say it. You know what I mean? Making sure what we say makes sense before we speak it. It's 333 right now, so this is important. Being cognizant of what we say, perfecting our thoughts, perfecting our communication, perfecting how we express what we feel. One thing that I find funny about Earth sign moons is that they're kind of like, okay, I have a problem, I gotta go fix it. Like, they're not trying to figure out the why like air. They're not like just being in the emotion and use their intuition like water. They're not just understanding the passion and desire within the emotion like fire. They're like, I feel this way, let's fix it. I have to address it. You know what I mean? Very practical in their approach when it comes to their emotions. And so we may notice we're doing the same thing too. But again, the sun, where the chart is highlighted at the moment, we need to not be so focused on the details. We need to express ourselves in a way in which we are clear conduits of energies and emotions and intuition, so we can really get the knowledge that we need to know that it's more than just the tangible and the physical. It gets deeper than that. And so during this full moon, what we're learning to do is release some of our 3D ways of being. Release how we feel, what we feel is perfection is when it comes to emotionally expressing ourselves, and perfection on what's emotionally dear to us and private to us and important to us. We're learning to just let go of just the 3D, like let go of like what you feel you need to do, what is important, what's a part of the routine, and just surrender and just be and just trust. That's all that Pisces energy really is saying. At least we got to do it for this month. You get what I'm saying? So this is what this energy is really trying to express. I really wanted to reiterate that because it's really important, all right? Now, with this particular moon, right? The moon's in Virgo. It's in the first decan of Virgo, right? So we're super duper Virgo here. Because this first decan is, of course, ruled by Mercury, which Virgo is naturally ruled by Mercury, so it's double Mercury. So again, we're being very, very detailed, very, very specific, very, very routine, very, very organized. We're just making sure we make sense before we communicate our emotions, we express our emotions. We're trying to find the perfect way to address our emotions. But sometimes you just gotta feel. You know what I mean? And this is what the season's trying to tell us to do, is just feel. Because just feeling the emotion and emoting and going through the emotion will help you understand and help you get the answers that you need sometimes. It's all about balance here, especially with opposites. It's all about balance. I'm not saying the Virgo way is the wrong way to do things, but at this moment, it's not. Right now, we need to focus on where the sun is at. Okay? That's the real thing here. Okay? So, of course, if the moon is in the first decan of Virgo, the sun is in the first decan of Pisces. And so these energies are just so different from each other. You know, Virgo, the moon is basically on Earth, while the sun, how we reacting to things, is very like universal unconsciousness. It's out there in space and on seeing some weird ass shit in the astral realm. You know what I mean? So they're very opposing energies. And this is why people feel conflicted during full moons, because they feel, right now we feel we need to be very organized and detailed with our emotions and deal with our emotions in a practical way. But the sun is pushing us to react in more of a Neptunian way or a Piscean way, to really just open ourselves up and surrender, so we can get in the proper energies and learn intuitively. You get what I'm saying? It's really energy. This is pure energy here. Pure Virgo energy, pure Pisces energy. And remember, during full moons, we need to let go where the moon is at in our chart, and so we can receive what's in the sun part of our chart, because that's what is being highlighted at this very moment. And so we need to let go of being a little bit too perfectionist, too practical with our emotions, and then fully just react. Piscean, react by opening yourselves up to what is the unknown, to what, you know, something that you feel like you really can't trust. Like, open yourself up to that. You get what I'm saying? So, excuse me. That's kind of the energies that are happening here. And it's pure energy. It's very important moon here. You know, Virgo and Pisces full moons are very interesting to me. Very, very interesting. I talked about the full moon last August. I think at that time I had a death in my family. And it's funny because, you know, at that moment I had like some things I had to go through, like with, that's very Virgoian, that's connected to routine and everything. But I still had this death in my family that was very emotionally draining and very painful. Someone that was really, really close to me. And so with and it happened during the full moon, and with the full, like, not the actual death, but the actual funeral. So what the full moon was actually telling me, with it being in Pisces, is saying, like, you have all this month to really focus on, you know, Virgoian things, creating a routine, being practical, focusing on the day-to-day, right? Use this week, this 1 week, to really work on your intuition and heal with your family and help your family. And so this is the same thing. So this week, meaning 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, which is the full moon, 20th, 21st, 22nd, use this time to address the, your emotional Virgoian self. So for the rest of the season of Pisces, you can really be focusing on that Pisces energy. You know what I mean? And so if you got things to kind of handle, things to work out, but the thing is, it's like, it's not, I just want to make sure you guys know, it's not like a race where I'm like, I have to be as Virgo moon as possible, and I got like 4 days left, I'm just going to run and do it. It's not that. It's, you have to let go of some of the low vibrating or more negative or more weaknesses you have when it comes to wherever this Virgo moon is in your chart. You get what I'm saying? You have to let go of some of that energy so you can fully get this, be replaced during Pisces season with this new intuitive energy that you wouldn't even suspect to come through, because again, it's coming from the unknown. You get what I'm saying? So definitely kind of understand that too. Okay? Now, let's talk about some of these aspects that are happening. After I talk about the aspects, right? There are no aspect patterns, so I'm not going to talk about any of those, but I'm going to stop. And I'm going to use the rest of the chart, rest of my reading, in which I talk about a fixed star that this full moon is conjuncting. I'll talk about that for when it comes to my Patreon folks. I'll talk about the fixed star and its connection to the sun, because it's actually conjuncting the sun. And I'll talk about too, like how this full moon is going to affect you based on what houses they're into. Those are for my Patreon folks, okay? So just to let you know. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about that, you can support me at patreon.com/ASTRODIM. It's just, you can support me $2 a month. There's more tiers available, but I'm going to offer more when I get enough followers, enough patrons, honestly. Because this shit's a lot, straight up, like it's a lot, and I don't want to be just giving and not receiving anything. You get what I'm saying? And so I just don't have the energy for it. I'm a 12th house sign, so I always kind of like go off. So I'm gonna try to stop that, because I know you guys probably are annoyed, but actually at the same time, who gives a fuck? You're listening to me, so deal with it. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry. It's hard out here for a pimp. Okay? Anywho. Let's go ahead and talk about these aspects that are happening, okay? So the first aspect I peeped is that this full moon is in conjunct and semi-sextile Chiron. Exactly. Yeah, you heard me right. Exactly. Okay? The sun is semi-sextile Chiron, while the moon is in conjunct Chiron. Okay? And so this is kind of an awkward moment, honestly, especially because this energy is exact, or almost, or just about exact, honestly. I don't think it's actually exact, sorry. I think it's like 1 degree. I lied. Sorry about that. Anywho. No, it's exact. It says 0 degrees. I'm right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Because actually, yeah, the moon is at full moon's going to be at 0 degrees, and Chiron's at 0 degrees. So I was right. Sorry about that. Anyways. This is going to be awkward because, Chiron is literally freshly, like this fucking day, in Aries, right? And, we're right now at the moment healing childhood traumas connected to self, connected to our personality, how people perceive us, how we like to be perceived. We're also healing childhood traumas connected to our motivation and drive, what's stopping us from being the most driven and motivated person, or what's making us too motivated and driven, where we're not like enjoying life that much. We're like focusing on these things, attaching these things. And with this Aries energy, it's very self, it's very like me right here at this moment. I feel me, I see me, I touch me, like very just solid me at the very moment where I am at this moment right now, right? While this full moon is just really different. This full moon is really different because like this is literally teeter-tottering 3D versus the rest of the higher realms. You get what I'm saying? 3D versus like the spiritual world. And you would think like Aries is more like connected to Virgo, or where the moon's at with the 3D-ness. But the thing is, those Virgos are not really on the more selfish type. They're trying to find perfection for themselves, but mostly for the world, to help other people too. That's why a lot of people get annoyed sometimes with certain Virgo energy folks, because they're consistently trying to tell them what they need to do better, and they're not trying to judge them or nothing, but they're just trying to help people. They're really earth angels. They honestly are. But some people just don't want their advice. You get what I'm saying? But the thing is, though, is that with this energy, it's totally different. It's like we're at the moment right now, Chiron is pushing us to focus on childhood traumas connected to people just not straight up liking us. You know, a lot of people that have Chiron in Aries or Chiron in the first are often teased terribly based off how they looked, how they perceive themselves, their personality in general, that type of energy. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's also very self too, because you know, we're kind of focusing on like what's causing us to not be as motivated or be at the level of motivation that is healthy for us. You get what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's a bit tricky because that's just so 3D. It's so like in the moment, like here, like it is very personal. While these energies are not personal, these energies are more focused on like bettering your life and bettering others' lives at the same damn time. You get what I'm saying? It's very like focused on the collective, not so focused on self. So we're just gonna like totally be even more conflicted because we have this feeling this one way, reacting another, but then having these childhood traumas kind of come through that is focused on ourselves more than anything. And so this might be a full moon in which we have like or teeter-tottering between, you know, the spiritual world and the earthly world, as well as teeter-tottering between like, you know, the universal society or society versus self. You know what I mean? We're teeter-tottering both of those things. It's really tricky. And everything needs to be addressed. You know what I mean? Because this is not necessarily, the full moon is not necessarily representing society, but who we are in society versus just who we are straight up on what we want to do, not what we are doing for society. You get what I'm saying? So it's really interesting. Like these energies are just not getting each other straight up. It's hard. And so we're having a lot of like things that need to be addressed coming out. So it's going to be like quite emotional. Honestly, quite an emotional full moon, like for real, you know? So next aspect is the full moon is trine and sextile Uranus. Its sun is sextile Uranus and the moon is trine Uranus. So with this energy, it's actually good. You know, trines and sextiles are great. And it's great because the next energies that I do see are all trines and sextiles. And so, you know, this moon's going to be emotional, but we're going to address the rest of the things quite easily. It's going to be some harmony with the things that we are addressing at the moment. You know what I mean? But with this energy here, what's really, really dope about it is that Uranus trining the moon, we are fully being emotionally aware of our uniqueness, our individuality, what makes us different, what makes us pop. You know what I mean? Specifically when it comes to self. So remember how I was just talking about with Chiron and how we kind of are understanding and going through certain childhood traumas, or kind of sorting through certain childhood traumas that we had, focusing on self and focusing on motivation. Well, the cool thing here is that, you know, we are emotionally connected to our individuality and uniqueness and what makes us different. And so we kind of have this understanding like, hey, I feel pretty good about myself in general, or at the very least, I appreciate a lot of my uniqueness. but it took me a long way to get there. I may need to do some digging into figure out what's going on here. You know what I mean? Figure out how to heal from this and become even a better person. Better emotional person, very, very emotional, intelligent. You get what I'm saying? And so it's dope. And this is like a very important and critical point. Again, because Uranus is at 29 degrees, Aries. And so, you know, even though this energy is trine, it'll be easy, it'll be harmonious, it'll be an easy flow, but it may take us a while to even realize our uniqueness and individuality, and why this makes us special. And it may take us also a while to even, and also in our emotional connection to it. And it also may take us a while to realize some of the offbeat energy that we may have to our motivation and our drive. And so this Chiron, again, is making us readdress this energy, because there's an emotional connection to why we are feeling the way that we are feeling at this moment. You know what I mean? So it's a really deep and cool energy to be going through. Now, what's also, well, actually, let me mention this too before I go on to Mars. Uranus is sextile the sun, which is nice. And so, you know, Uranus is at the last degree of Aries. Usually Aries and Pisces are semi-sextile, but because the sun is at the 0 degrees Pisces and your Uranus is at 29 degrees Aries, is technically a sextile, right? And so this is very important and a poignant moment in life right now, whoever is living, you know? The reason why is because, you know, with the sun being in Pisces, no matter where it's at, we're having a greater understanding of our connection to the universal unconsciousness, our connection to the spirit world, to all those other realms like the astral and etheric realm, right? And we're getting connected to that through our intuition. With Uranus being in 29 degrees Aries, right? It's really important because, again, Aries is all about just me, what I feel, my passion and desires, how I'm coming off to people, excuse me. But it's at the very last degree of Aries. And so you kind of have this sense of self-assurance and security that will allow you to open up even more with this intuition. Do you get what I'm saying? Allowing you to be confident enough to surrender. Be confident enough to trust in the universe. Because you know what you got. You know you're important. You're strong within yourself. And so you're learning that last lesson of, you know, the importance of your individuality and uniqueness when it comes to self. And because you have that maturity, you're now more open to receive the emotional, intuitive energies that Sun in Pisces could give. You know what I mean? So you're able to fully express it more, express this intuition more, express this this intuitive energy more, because you're confident enough to do it. You know what I mean? So it's nice. It's cool. It's just dope energy. It really is. It's just dope energy. Now, Mars is also semi-sextile in trine, the full moon, right? With that energy, it's really interesting because, like, with Uranus and Mars conjuncting, this kind of shows like random events just popping up and you taking action towards them. That's questioning who you are as a person, your individuality, your uniqueness, what you bring to the table, your ingenious mind. People are questioning that, and it's making you want to take charge and push forward and do things. And Uranus also represents just random things that are popping up out of nowhere. Mars represents aggression, so random things like that can happen. So, You know, be very watchful of where Uranus and Mars is in your chart at the moment, because that can show where in your life you'll have this random aggressive or assertive event popping up in your life, okay? But with this full moon's cool because it's, you know, trining and sextile this energy. This is harmonious aspects to have, right? So with Mars and Moon trining, what's really good is that Mars, again, represents motivation and drive. And so we're being motivated and driven to go ahead and approach our emotions and figure out what we're feeling, why we're being so practical with our emotions at the moment. Why do things have to be a certain way in order for us to emote? What are we holding on to in the 3D realm so much that's making us feel like we have to be perfect in expressing our emotion? When emotion is no such thing as perfect emotion. Emotion is just free and ever going and crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's emotion's emotion. It's just all over the place. Emotion is everything, honestly. And so how the hell can you perfect that? Why do we feel the way? Why do we feel that way, that we have to express ourselves in a certain way? You know what I mean? You're being more motivated and driven to actually not only understand why you're doing that, but addressing those emotions that you have, you know? So it's dope energy to have for sure. What's really dope is that Mars is in Taurus. And so Taurus is a fixed energy. They're like, all right, I'm not moving until I get this goal done. You know what I mean? But the moon is in Virgo energy, where Virgo will look at certain things to see how they can, like, fix it and address it. And they're like open-minded. You know what I mean? And so you're going to be open-minded emotionally, but you're going to have that steady drive to be like, I'm not stopping until I address this issue and let go of this practical way of how I express myself that's low vibrating, so I can fully surrender and trust in the universe this Pisces season. You know, so it's nice. With the Mars sextile and the Sun, it's dope because you have this steady drive and motivation to understand this Pisces energy, and like Sun being this Pisces energy, expressing and identifying with the unknown, with spirituality, with intuition, with varying emotions, flexible emotions. You know what I mean? Some people are just not going to. It's gonna have a hard time understanding the whys and whats when it comes to this, but they are going to be driven and motivated to really understand what they need to get from the unknown this Pisces season. You peep what I'm saying? To get the specifics of that, of course, you need to see where Pisces is in your chart, but that's kind of what's happening here. Lastly, this full moon is trine sextile Jupiter as well, which is dope, right? The sun is sextile Jupiter and the moon is trine Jupiter. Now this energy is not going to be as strong because Jupiter is at 20 degrees Sagittarius, and it literally just made the mark when it came to trine and sextile. When it comes to the sun and the moon, I like to give a 10-degree orb because they're luminaries. They're very important. They light up the earth. They give so much energy to the earth. There's a closeness to the earth when it comes to these energies, unlike there are with the planets. Of course, the planets give us energy, but they don't give us light. You know what I mean? They have a little boop of a light, but that's about it. You know what I mean? It's more for show, not for help. Like how the moon helps us. Moon moves water. The sun gives us life. You know, give us light, all that shit. You know, other planets don't really give that much. When it comes to the physical, they give energies though which are very important, you know, of course. But anyway, that's the reason why I give the sun and the moon 10-degree orbs, instead of like the 5 to 7 degree orbs that I give planets, and the 3-degree orbs I give certain planets to if it's an inconjunct or sextile, 2-degree orb if it's an asteroid, you know, that shit. Anywho, like I was saying. Um, with this energy, it's not going to be as strong, but it's still going to be important, right? What's pretty dope is that like Jupiter represents different philosophies, beliefs, religion, and it's really kind of just like being adventurous and exploring things that are different and foreign from us, especially with Jupiter being in Sagittarius. This energy is reiterated, is duplicated even, doubled down. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's just that energy times two, right? With the moon being in Virgo, what's dope is that again, you're being very practical with your emotions. You're feeling and being like, okay, I feel this way. Why do I feel it? What I need to do to address it? I need to figure out something. I need to have this end goal on this emotion, like, and fixing it or addressing it or expressing it. You know what I mean? Jupiter is allowing you to be a little bit more open-minded on how to express your emotions. You know what I mean? How to find a perfect way for you to be emotional, to address the moon type energies, such as even your home and your private life. But you're being open-minded and you're thinking, okay, what I'm doing right now is wrong. What my routine with my emotions and addressing them right now is wrong. But maybe I can discover things that are foreign and different from me that can give me some leeway, and you're going to find it because it's trine energy. Trine energy just happens harmoniously. It's easy. It flows well. It literally just falls on your lap. So you're going to find it. If you just need to add just a tiny bit effort, and bam, it's there. Okay? So just know that. Now with Jupiter sextile the sun, this is dope because again, with sextiles, it's harmonious, but it's like two energies coming from different perspectives, but getting each other like harmoniously. And so, you know, we are having this theme of discovering the unknown, identifying with the unknown, reacting to the unknown, reacting to our intuition, to the various emotions that we feel, that we're picking up from other entities. You know what I mean? That in which we call intuition. We're practicing that. We're focusing on that. We're playing with that. We're allowing our imaginations to run wild. With the Jupiter trining this energy, again, if we don't have a way on how to express this appropriately, we can find a way to do this. You know what I mean? Again, more effort needs to be applied here, but if you apply some effort, you will find a philosophy, a belief, a religion, a concept, a way of thinking, a culture, a ritual that will help you open up in that aspect of your life to be a little bit more free and trusting and surrender and be more intuitive in that part of your life. You get what I'm saying? And so it's dope. It's dope energy. But that's the aspects that I have, y'all. So with all that being said, I'm going to stop here because there's no aspect patterns to talk about. I mean, I would tell you the aspect pattern and then explain it in the Patreon version anyway, but for my Patreon folks do. What you can expect is me to talk about the fixed stars that are aspecting this full moon. One of them is very important, is Fomalhaut, which also aspected the full moon on the moon side in late August, and I talked about this, so it may be important for you to listen to both of those. You know, for my Patreon folks, it's definitely available, but for other people, it's available too. Well, the general reading is, but not the details. The details are left for my patrons, you know. But one of them is Fomalhaut, and Fomalhaut is very important because it's like one of the four kings stars. Regulus is a part of the four kings, which Regulus is actually conjuncting the moon too. So I'm going to be talking about that. Regulus, Fomalhaut, Antares, and I forgot the other one, but it's the four kings of stars of astrology, and it kind of used to mark the seasons back in the day. And Fomalhaut is connected to an archangel, Gabriel, and Regulus is connected to an archangel Michael. And so I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about the significance between this moon and the last full moon in this axis, when the full moon was actually in Pisces. And I'm get a little bit deeper on that. And I'm also going to, there's another fixed star that I'll talk about too, that is conjuncting you know, the sun right now. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be fun. I'm also gonna be talking generally how this full moon is going to treat you based off of where it is in your chart. It's on the first house, second house, third house, or excuse me, it's the axis. This is a full moon, so it's in the first and seventh, seventh and first, second and eighth, eighth and second, all that. Okay, so yeah, if you are a real one, you'll probably support me on Patreon because I give you all this free content. I'm just saying. And you can listen to all this and it's going to be dope, you know. So I'm going to leave it off here. Hopefully you guys appreciate this and took a lot of great information off this. So let me know if you have any questions, concerns, you need me to get deeper into something. I will be glad to do it, okay? All right. Much love, y'all. Peace. And wait for a second, patrons, because I got more for you.